It's time for another session here with The Current, and today we're going to meet a relatively new artist, Blu DeTiger, and you have had quite a summer. Your song "Figure It Out" is kind of blowing up, as one might say. So, welcome to The Current, and thanks for taking some time for us to get to know you today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, I guess. Yeah,
So,
lots to talk about.
yeah, I mean, going back to you as a kid, I was reading that you were really into School of Rock, and that's how you first started both learning to play and then also learning to play with others. Is that true? Is that how you kind of got into
Y-
music?
Yeah, pretty much like my older brother was playing drums, and I was like, okay, I want to pick up an instrument too, and we both did the like School of Rock program, which looking back was so amazing because like I was basically performing at these iconic like New York clubs when I was really young. So just that performance experience was is really good, and like I got to play with other musicians like all the time. Which
Yeah.
is another way of like getting way better. So yeah, that's kind of I guess that was like my beginning in the city in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. I always love when I meet people and they went through something like a School of Rock because it gives you such an interesting experience. And whereas I think other people just have to stumble their way through that, maybe ripping off phone numbers off of old postings on bulletin boards. Like that's how bands were started back in the day, but now
Oh
it's
my
like
god,
this whole new
yeah.
thing, right?
Man, yeah, I remember
Um,
like even when I was in like middle school and high school when we would go like rehearse at like rehearsal places in the city, there would be like the bulletin board and you would have to like take the thing and it was like bass player needed, guitar player needed. Yeah, it's way different now.
yeah. So what drew you to the bass? Why bass instead of keyboards or guitar or drums or some other instrument?
Yeah, so as I was saying, my older brother was playing drums, and so naturally, I'm young. I'm a few years younger, so naturally, I was like, I want to do something too. And I was 7, so in my head, I like this is just how I remember the story. But in my head, I was thinking that guitar was too mainstream, and I wanted to be like more unique and different, and I chose bass. And then like I went to Guitar Center, got my first bass, and it was like taller than me at the time. I have really funny, cute photos of it. But yeah, I'm super happy that I did. I think it was just like one of those. I was just like a young kid, like ugh, I want to be like different. I want to be unique, and I'm really happy that I chose bass first. And now I play guitar and other instruments, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you really need to be able to like, stretch to get the frets are longer, and the distance between
yeah,
frets. And if you're a kid, oh my God, at age 7, that's a challenging
I
instrument to pick up.
know. I know. I don't even know how I was doing it. Like, well, my first bass was a Gretsch, and I think it was a little bit smaller and might have been short
Yeah.
scale. And then I got a Fender Mustang, which is short scale, and that was
Short
like
scale.
really
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
finally, I kind of graduated beyond that to just a
Now,
regular size.
now playing bass, have you researched into or heard about some of the great female bassists in rock history, like the Carol Kays or like the Tina Weymouths and
Totally,
stuff like that? Yeah. Who are some of the people that you've either
totally.
learned about or studied or even gotten to know at this point?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Carol Kay, like the Wrecking Crew, is like obviously
Yeah.
super iconic. She actually gives lessons now, so I was thinking of hitting her up just to like talk or play. Or, I don't know, but yeah, her and then like Tina Weymouth, obviously, and Tom Tom Club is also a big inspiration of mine for my own music, like for my artist project. Just the production and her style in general is so cool. Um, Also, Michelle Ndegeocello is like one of my favorite bass players, and
Yeah.
I saw her play at yeah, she's incredible. And I saw her play at Le Poisson Rouge in New York, in the
Mhm.
West Village, which was insane. And I think that was the first like live performance I've seen of a female bass player and singer because she's singing and playing these crazy bass lines, which is really hard to do. Like I know that's hard to do because I've done
Yeah.
I'm learning to do it right now. But she's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy good.
Well, when we come back, I want to talk about your time as a club DJ and adding bass to the DJ mix, which I think is a really cool concept. But right now, I think we're going to go in and have a couple performances from you that you've tracked for us
Sweet.
at home. So let's do. I think we're going to do vintage and Cotton Candy Lemonade here. It's Blu DeTiger, and it's a session here with The Current.
1, 2, 3, 4. I've been up too long, something's wrong. Watch the rising sun, turning all my nights to days. Turn the speaker on, play the song. Yeah, you know the one, makes me feel some type of way. But I've been on my own, come find me now. I'm lonely to the bone, but I don't feel solo when you're around. Let's run away from home. I wanna get lost with you. Picture waking up somewhere new. I wanna get lost with you. 'Cause right now I'm lost without you too. I wanna get cotton candy skies in my eyes when they open wide, fountains full of lemonade. You'll be my kaleidoscope, my color in this life, watching them will fade away. But I've been on my own, come find me now. I'm lonely to the bone, but I don't feel so low when you're around. Let's run away from home. I wanna get lost with you. Picture waking up somewhere new. I wanna get lost with you. 'Cause right now I'm lost without you too. I wanna get
So there's a couple of songs from our guest today, Blu DeTiger, including a new single that's just come out now, Cotton Candy Lemonade. Can you tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. It just dropped. And I've been getting a lot of love and really appreciate all the support so far. Yeah, basically I wrote it over Zoom with a few friends, which was really interesting because that was the first song that I did during quarantine that was online. Like I was writing a bunch just on my own on my computer, but yeah, so that one came out over Zoom, and I think it just deals with a lot of like the classic quarantine issues that I think everyone was feeling to some degree, like loneliness and longing for the pre-COVID time or post-COVID time. So that's kind of what the song is about. And yeah, I feel like it's still relevant because we're still in it right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, for the foreseeable future, I guess that's where we're at, right? So we were talking about
Yeah,
you being a bass player and kind of developing as a musician from a really young age, but you also then started DJing in clubs. And I don't know if you ever heard about there was a collective called Giant Steps that was in London and New York where they used to kind of do like a neo soul jazz thing, and they would bring out trumpet players and maybe add percussion to the DJ sets. But you started playing your bass along with the records you were DJing?
yeah, yeah. It's weird because I feel like I mean, bass over DJ sets is super rare, and I was seeing a lot of the, like trumpet, saxophone, even guitar over DJ sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bass thing was kind of new. But for me, it was kind of just like this makes sense. Like I'm really into DJing. I'm really into playing bass, like I have been forever, and it's all music. So I was like, let me just try this, and I brought my bass like my first, real DJ set at this club in New York called Elvis Guest House, and people just like really liked it. I think because everyone the human experience, like the sound of a real instrument over electronic music is, I think, really special. And people want to see something new always, and it was rare. So yeah, I just did that, and then I kind of just did it at every set, and it was just became my thing. And yeah, and I think I definitely got way better at my instrument from that as well, just because I was like improvising. I was just like I had to come up with it on the spot almost a lot of the time. So
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had rehearsed the songs that you were going to play bass on in your DJ sets, or if you were just kind of like figuring out the key and figuring out like the chord progression on the fly and trying to fill and also trying to fit in with the drum patterns as it happened, because that's pretty audacious.
yeah, it was kind of, it really depended on the set. I mean, sometimes there were like those, I had a few songs that were just kind of like in my book of bag of tricks, I guess, where like I knew
Hmm.
that those songs worked well. But I would have to like test those out first. So I think like as I got better, like I had the few that I knew I like the songs that I knew how to play. But then I remember there was this gig I was doing in New York for like months where I would play every week at this club, and I wasn't even the DJ there. Like there was another DJ, and I was hired to like sit in the club and like just play bass over the DJ, but I was like across the room, so I didn't even know what they were playing. I would just have to hear it and then figure out the chords and do it at the same time. So that one was all like improvisation. So it kind of depended on the gig.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's like you said, that's an
It was
amazing way to
fun.
really like master the instrument, because suddenly you're pushed into all these new directions and having to sort of think on the fly and get your brain to hear, maybe listen even better than you might think you could with something like that. So you also then started going out on the road as kind of bass player for hire. What did that experience bring you that now you're able to kind of maybe utilize as you're stepping into the limelight as a front person yourself?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm so grateful for all those experiences, and I think I'm just more appreciative. Like I've paid my dues, like I've been in the van, I've done the, like 12-hour van ride. Like I feel like I've experienced that, and now I'm just going to be so much more, appreciative and like yeah, just experience when I go in to start doing my own stuff. And I think just
Yeah.
knowing the ins and outs of the touring world and the crew and just what everyone's role is, I think was just really important for me to learn. And then just the performance experience straight up, just playing every night and getting used to being on stage and being comfortable um, on stage and even rehearsing. Like I've done some, like big rehearsals with really good musical directors, and really grateful for that experience as well. Just to see how it all works and how a live show is put together was really important for me. So yeah.
Yeah. I saw a quote from you about Figure It Out where you said the song kind of wrote itself. Is that something that is common, or was that just a lightning strike kind of moment for you?
Yeah, it's kind of true. That one did really write itself. I think it was done in like 30 minutes, like really
Wow.
fast, which is kind
Yeah.
of weird. I think it was just something about like the hypnotizing groove and like the flow. Like I don't know, it just kind of happens. I feel like that almost happened with Cotton Candy Lemonade, the newest single as well. It kind of just, I think it's just like something simmering, and then you hear the right chords and the right beat, and it just whatever you're thinking in your head just comes out, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I know that, a lot of the early sort of reaction for you started through TikTok and through, well, I guess particularly through TikTok, but social media in general. And, when you started posting videos, did you have any idea that this was going to somehow lead to a song of yours now having, millions of Spotify spins and stuff like that?
Yeah, I didn't really know. I think when the bass videos and covers started to pop off, I was kind of like, it's kind of just what we were talking about with the DJing thing, how I would, take these popular songs, like most often like top 40 songs, and, write a new bass line and improvise over it. That's kind of that's what I'm doing in all of the TikTok videos that I do as well. So, and I've seen that work in the live situation. So I think when it started working in the video scenario, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like I've seen it work in the DJ sets. Like this is so fun. Like I'm keep doing this. And then I think I was kind of surprised that Figure It Out popped off on TikTok too at the same time. But now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, okay, it was just like a perfect storm. And I think the timing was really right. And everything kind of just like intersected really nicely. But yeah, it's weird. It still almost like doesn't feel real because it's still only happening online and I'm only seeing numbers and things. Like I think it's gonna be really fun when the touring starts and I can actually meet people and talk to fans and all of that.
Yeah, it's got to be a strange experience to see this sort of happen. You're one of the first artists I've talked to that has primarily had the career growth or whatever in this time of COVID, not somebody who already had maybe an existing touring fan base or record selling fan base. So, are you nervous about getting into the real world, and are you ready? Do you have a band that's ready to go when you get a green light?
Yeah, I'm really ready. And like, as we were saying too, like all the, previous touring experience I've had, I feel way more, confident and ready and just excited because I just know I miss that feeling. Like I miss those endorphins of playing so bad. And so I feel really good about it. And I'm just excited to meet people face to face, honestly, because I talk to a lot of people, online and through messages, and I try to get back to everyone. And it's special, but it's not the same as meeting people, obviously, in real life. But yeah, like my brother will play drums for me, and he was playing drums in the little videos that we made at home. And then I'll have like a bigger band when we do like actual shows. So yeah, I'm super excited to have like a band of my own. I've always just been in, band for others, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, well, we hope to meet you and your band when the time is right and touring becomes a reality again. And now, let's check out a performance that you did. It's Blu DeTiger, and the song that's really kind of exploded across social media and now on the radio. It is "Figure It Out" here on The Current.
Don't know what you're saying. You're flying higher than a plane, and I'm not complaining. It's getting too loud, we'll figure it out. I'm out of my brain. Your t-shirt is ripped and it's all the same. You don't know my name. It's getting too loud, we'll figure it out. All mine. You say you wanna be my all time. You say you wanna be who's like I. You say you wanna be, but you already had it, and I'm not about it. Don't know why you're playing. There's so much more to the fame, but I'm never changing, nah. It's getting too loud, we'll figure it out. You're losing your own game, while I'm switching lanes the identical way I started my day up. I can't really wait up. We'll figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out, just figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out, just figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out, just figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out. All mine. You say you wanna be my all time. You say you wanna be who's like I. You say you wanna be, but you already had it, and I'm not about it. Figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out, just figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out, just figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out, just figure it out, just figure it out. We'll figure it out.
That is Blu DeTiger and Figure It Out, and we're here together. It is a current virtual session, and I love the style that you rock in your performances with like the kind of monochromatic, or, singular bright colors and stuff that you've done across a lot of your videos. So, is there an album on the way, or what's sort of the next step for you? I know you just put out a new single with Cotton Candy Lemonade, right?
Yeah, so that's a new single. Everyone go check it out if you're watching. And yeah, there's going to be another single pretty soon, and then a full EP that is finished. So I'm really excited. Yeah, so full EP coming in the next few months. Look out for it.
Cool. That's great. It's Blu DeTiger. Thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you
on
so
The
much for
Current.
having me.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, you as well.